Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tall Mike. So glad you're here. Well, what we got going on? In the stock market, we're trying to form a top. We're in a topping out pattern where there's a lot of risk to the downside, but we're trying to form that top, right? Up, day, down, day, up, kind of moving sideways, but we're forming a top. We're at right around 5,000 on the S&P. Little below it right now, 49.50. Maybe they can push it up to 5,000, but I think this market is in a lot of trouble. Now, I want to point out a few things here. We're up 4% for the year, right? 4% for the year already. Now, if you took your money out of the stock market and now put it into a money market or the government bonds, right? They pay about what, 5%? You got 4% in already, and then you could have another 4 or 5% risk-free. Would give you about 8% for the year. In a year that's very risky. I'd see a lot of risk in this market. This market can come down quickly, but a lot of people, they will like that risk. The moon boys like that risk. Think the 5,000 on the S&P is going to become 10,000 by the end of the year, maybe. And maybe it will, but an 8% return risk-free is pretty good, right? I mean, that's just a suggestion. That's just what I wanted to point out. But I do think there's a lot of risk in the market. And I do think the market's going to come down. I do think we're making a topping pattern right now, a major topping pattern. We're going to drop 10, 15% is my take. Your take may be completely different. All right. So today I want to talk about, the financial crisis. We are in a financial crisis. Now, you won't hear this on mainstream. No, mainstream media will tell you best economy ever. They'll say, look at the stock market, record high. Look at houses, record high. I'm telling you, we are in a financial crisis right now. And Jerome Powell, he knows about the financial crisis, and he came out with good news. We have good news from Jerome Powell. He came out and said that the commercial real estate crisis is manageable. It's manageable. It's a manageable problem, right? He doesn't see any concern for this. Now, what we got going on is commercial real estate. We have $2 trillion worth of loans coming due, right? Okay, but they can't borrow any money because the value of the asset got cut in half, got chopped in half. And the interest rates went up, value of the asset went down. Okay, so they cannot refinance these things. So a lot of them are already giving them back to the bank. A lot of shopping malls are now owned by your local bank. A lot of commercial office buildings are now owned by your local bank. And they don't want to hold them. They're going to have a fire sale, and we're going to see how this plays out. But there is a financial crisis, and it's already here. It's in the regional banking system. Now, they don't want you to know about this. They want you to think everything's safe because they don't want you to go and take all your money out of the bank. That'd cause a bank run, right? That would cause a total collapse. But here's the thing. There already is a total collapse going on. They won't talk about, they don't tell you about, but look at right now, okay, we got another canary in the coal mine, if you will. We got New York Community Bank, right? New York Community Bank is in free fall right now. 2 weeks ago, it was over $10. Now it's down around $4, right? It's lost 60% of its value. But the whole regional banking system is down about 10 to 15% just in the last week. Why? Because the problem is here. The problem is here now. It's called commercial real estate. Now, banks have much more exposure to real estate today than they did in the 2008 financial crisis. These regional banks have about 30% exposure to the commercial real estate market. These regional banks, they're going to go out of business. Now, even Jerome Powell, he uses the polite words. Many of them, he says, are likely to close. It's like they close the doors. What he really means is they're failing. They're going to fail. Many banks are going to fail. Now, he makes it sound like it's a few banks will fail. Look, we've already had 10% of the top 50 banks fail within the last year. Okay, that started with Silicon Valley Bank, and now we're on number 6. Number 6 bank is New York Community Bank. And New York Community Bank is a big bank. It's 34th largest in the nation. But so we've already having a banking crisis. 10% are failing. Okay, so we got 10% of banks already failing. but it's just the tip of the iceberg. You haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen what's going to happen to commercial real estate. Look, at commercial real estate, we're not even in a recession yet, and they're already selling these properties 70, 80% off, dumping them onto the market, and the recession hasn't even hit. Now, if you listen to mainstream media, no recession, soft landing, job market's booming. Every one job we lose, we add 3 more. Now, granted, 3 more are part-time and the one's full-time, but they tell you that the job market's strong. We got the proof. The tent cities are growing all around the United States. Tent cities popping up everywhere. Proof of a strong jobs market. So there's not going to be a recession, but believe me, take my word for it or don't take my word for it. That's fine too. But there's a recession coming. It's almost here. People are going to feel the pain of job losses. I have several friends already laid off looking for work. And now they could go work at Chipotle, but they can't go replace their $250,000 a year job in the technology space. So what they're doing is they're getting 2 or 3 jobs. Chipotle, Uber, Lyft, I don't know. But they're trying to survive. They're trying to replace that income. And that income is not easy to replace. But when you got this exposure to the commercial real estate end of things, about 30%, but they also have a lot of exposure to the residential market. But Mike, the residential market's strong. My area houses are still going higher. And that may be true, and that may be a good thing. Plus, I'm locked in at 2.8%. And you see, that's part of the problem. See, you're locked in at 2.8, but the bank's paying 5 or 6% for money right now. They can't get money. Every month that you own that house, they're losing money. Okay, and that's normal for banks. Banks lose money, right? They bought all those bonds. The bonds are down 30%. They're losing money. They don't have your money anymore. As soon as the bank runs hits, which is going to hit, New York Community Bank hitting it right now, that one they'll close. That's how Jerome likes to say. That bank will fail. And there's going to be hundreds of these. Now, not to worry. They can all merge with, J.P. Morgan and Chase. They can all merge with Chase. Chase seems to get all the cheap assets. And Chase, look at Chase, they're doing really well. I'll tell you, even Chase is insolvent at this point. If they had to mark their assets down to market, they would not have the money if they have bank runs. And bank runs are coming. I'm afraid it's going to be a repeat. Nobody understands this. It's a repeat of not a recession. They wouldn't let us have a recession. They kept printing the money. We don't want a recession. We don't want a recession. So we're going to skip over the recession, go right into the Great Depression, maybe a greater depression than in the 1930s. Now, in the 1930s, it was something like 9,000 banks failed in the 1930s. I mean, we don't even have that many banks now. We only have about 4,000. And when this is all done, I think they want to get it to under basically 10 large banks. That's all they want. And eventually they want to get it down just to one central bank. Anyways, they're going to have the central bank digital currency. That's the game plan. So this may all be, it may all be planned. This may be the master plan to get rid of all these banks and to get it down to just one bank. So when everybody's losing their money in all these banks, they're going to be begging the Fed, right? They're going to be begging the government, right? They're going to say, help us, please help us. And they're going to roll out their plan. They're going to go, we got this plan, right? This plan will protect your money because you'll be with the central bank, right? The central bank will have your money. We'll go to the central bank digital currency and there'll be no more problems. That's how they're planning to roll this out, right? But there's a problem there. When you get to central bank digital currency, you lose a lot of freedom. Now, we've already losing our freedoms in the United States. We don't have freedom of speech. I can't come on here and tell you what I really think. They'd kick me off this channel so fast. There's no freedom of speech anymore in our country. You get booted if you don't have the mainstream media, their ideas, their systems in place. They kick you out. Now, they want you in that CBDC. They want you in there really bad. And I suggest what I'm doing, I'm putting a little money away in gold before they make it illegal. Maybe they'll confiscate it. I don't really know. When they move you to the CBDC, they only want you in theirs. And that's why I worry about Bitcoin. They don't want any competition. I think they actually rolled Bitcoin out to see if a CBDC would actually work. And they go, Bitcoin Bitcoin's doing pretty well. Let's roll out the CBDC. Now, when that comes out, they're not going to want the competition of Bitcoin. You watch. There's going to be a lot of pressure. A lot of countries will outlaw Bitcoin, and that's just my take now. But Mike, they can't outlaw it. It's a free market. Look at nothing in this world is a free market. Internet access is not free. They can monitor what you watch. They can monitor which sites get to stay up, which sites get to go down. They don't like what I say, I go away on YouTube. It's not a free country. We do not have free markets in the United States anymore. People go, but Mike, we have free markets. We have free market capitalism. If you believe that, you need to go take an economics class. This is not free market capitalism. This is bailout system. We bailed out everything, and we're going to bail out the banks again. Who's going to get stuck with it? The taxpayers, me and you. We're going to get stuck with another bailout. Although this time it may actually be a bail-in. If you read your bank statements, they own your money and they can bail that money in. Now, what they have to do, they have to give you shares in the bank. Shares in the bank. We don't have your money, but now you're a part owner of the bank. Here's some shares. Here's some shares. And that's just like phony money also. We can print as many shares to this bankrupt bank as we want. And that's how they give you your money back. It's called a bail-in. Read your documents. It's very scary, very frustrating. You see what's happening with that New York bank right now. It's kind of interesting. See, the banks are all intertwined together, but nobody wants to do business with them anymore because they're going down, so they can't get money from anywhere. It reminds me in the old days back in Las Vegas. In Las Vegas, Vegas almost went under a few times. I don't know if you know that or not. But anyways, there were a lot of casinos that were bankrupt, one after the other, and you could not bring your chips from one casino to the other because they knew that they were going bankrupt. They didn't want to get stuck with their chips. So you could only cash the chips in that casino. It's kind of like the banks now. You can only do business with the banks that aren't going to fail. It's really hard to tell which ones are going to fail, but now everybody knows New York bank's going to fail. So, okay, they're not going to do business with them, which pushes them down faster and faster. It accelerates the decline in the banking system. They're all intertwined. And a lot of this is problems with the real estate problems in China. Everything's intertwined. China's already having banks go out. They had a couple this year already. Banks are going down in China. Banks are going down here. You see, they're intertwined. They're intertwined. You see, the world is a small place and they all do business together. But when one starts going, it's a domino effect. And this is going to get ugly now. I don't mean to come on here and try to sell you fear porn. I have nothing to sell you. I don't come on here and try to scale you. This is just my opinion. You go watch mainstream media, they'll tell you this is the best economy ever. Nothing to worry about. Biden's in control and there's no problems. And that's fine if you want to believe that. A lot of people do believe that. I don't have any problem with them believing that, but I don't believe that. So I'm trying to prepare myself the best I can for what's coming. Now, I don't think anybody can be fully prepared for what's coming. I don't even think it's stoppable at this point. You see, the Fed created this problem by keeping interest rates at 0% for 15 years, and they think they can stop what's coming. There was a Great Depression coming, going to jump over the recession because they wouldn't let us have any recession. History books teach you anything. It'll teach you that you need to have a recession so you don't jump into a depression. Look, at 1929, the party was roaring, and this party's still going strong. Let me tell you, that open house I had this past weekend, it was a party. I mean, the party's still going on right now, but in 1929, the switch flicked off, and it happens abruptly. It just comes to a stop. Same with, even in my lifetime, maybe some of you millennials weren't born yet. I don't know. No, you probably were. You probably were young, though. All right, so 1999, we were partying, right? It was a dot-com boom. What happened? What happened? Abruptly came to an end. What was it? The NASDAQ was at 5,000, dropped about 80%, down to around 1,000 and change. 80% off in the stock market is going to cause a problem. When the banking financial system goes down, it's going to cause a problem. What's it going to do to the real estate market? What's it going to do to your house? It's going to wipe out that equity overnight. Not everybody's going to be able to get out like Billy Bob did. Billy Bob got out. Yeah, he got out. He's been out for a year or two now. He's just waiting. Again, he knows what's coming. Billy Bob's a smart guy. He knows what's coming. He's waiting for it. Now, maybe it's takes another year. I don't know the exact timing of it. I just know it's coming also. I agree with Billy Bob. It's coming. It may be a year away. It may be longer than that. Nobody knows for sure, but it's coming. I know we don't have 3 years left. I don't think we have 3 years left. 2 years, very questionable. 1 year, maybe election year. Maybe we can keep it going. We'll see how this all plays out. If you like this stuff, give me the thumbs up. Why not? I'm Tall Mike. Get out there, everybody. Have a great day. Bye-bye.